I get 2 thumbs up. Whoa, what's going on here? Wait a minute. There's all these new. I just did an update to Ecamm Live, and there's all kinds of notes here. What's going on? All right, I'm live. Wednesday, August 3rd. It's always a good day when DJ Succotash is here. Let me make sure that everything's buttoned down here. Let's shut the phone off. Redonkulous. Lava cats. All right. Chris is here. Brandon's here. We've got Wowder's here. DJ Succotash in the house. Anybody else? And David. Well, welcome everybody. It's Wednesday, August 3rd. And if you didn't read the memo, gee whiz, 5150, Lava Cat. I don't even. Lava Cat definitely needs a theme song, and you've repeated it because I just mumbled here. Wait, I did unmute. What are you talking about? That's messed up, Bill. Next week, Camera Flask. Why? Because a couple of scheduling conflicts. Number one, Ben is on a family holiday. Number two, Caleb's office is about half AC, half not AC. So we're going to do it next week. It's going to be a half an hour earlier because of scheduling. That's 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. So you do the math. It's 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. And Andres, good to have you here. It's been a while, I think, that you've been on the live stream. And here we are from the barn. Why am I'm getting like double posts here. Gee Whiz's Lava Cat needs a theme song, and Andres's Hello Gem are both yeah. I don't know if Caleb is successful getting Lava Cat, then that will be the greatest coup of all time. So here we are. I didn't expect it to be just sort of a live stream Q&A, talk about production, but I'm happy for that. Sam, good to have you back after a while. And we'll see where this conversation goes for the next little while, but hopefully everybody's doing well. I admittedly went out with a colleague to a winery this afternoon because it was somebody who came up from California. I didn't really have a choice in the matter. And so I have been drinking some wine. So disclaimer, there you go. Rick, come on, you're ridiculous. So I do want to focus here though, and I want to talk about production. As always, if you put an at the C47 at the beginning of your comment here, then it's usually a question for me or something that we want to have a conversation about. So please do that. And Andres, it's good to hear that you've been traveling and working. And Mitch is the first one up with an at the C47. Can you tell me the future and let me know when B&H will deliver my pre-ordered Canon R7? I do not know the answer to that. But again, a double post for some reason. That's the third one we've had in the stream so far. And it's very, very strange. First time I've seen that. I don't know. 3 times from you, Mitch. So that's weird. Wait, 4 times. What is going on with the comments today? Robert, anyone use a hyperdeck shuttle worth the $495? I don't know the answer to that. I guess if you're editing day in, day out, and it fits within your workflow, DaVinci Resolve, I would assume so. But again, I think that's very much based on the editor. These double, triple posts are freaking me out a little bit. No, I'm not just seeing double, Brandon. Give me a break. The new Ecamm beta has multi-stream option with an Ecamm, so might want to check that out. Andres, that's good that you bring that up, even though I'm seeing a double post and I'm seeing a triple post from Brandon. I just did the update to Ecamm Live right before this stream, and clearly I have to let the twins know over there that there's some issues with the comment section. It's making my head hurt here. It's great that you're only seeing single posts, but I literally updated a few minutes before the live stream. Worst thing you could possibly do, by the way. and I'm seeing double and triple posts, and it has nothing to do with the wine. GWiz's posts, any ideas to get a variable zoom control on power zoom like the Sony 28 to 135 while using on an A7 camera? I'm only posting this once and I'm seeing it twice, and not because I have double vision here or whatever you call it. I don't know the answer to that question. I'd have to look into that. I'm glad you're only seeing single posts. Now, I will say this. Everybody who's here and posting comments are looking at those comments on YouTube. I am looking at them inside of Ecamm Live, which means that I'm getting a feed. There's a communication going on between Ecamm Live and YouTube, and that's probably where the problem is. So I would doubt that you would be seeing double posts, but I think it has something to do with this update to Ecamm Live. Multi-stream is great. I don't think it's going to support, well, it'll support LinkedIn probably, but the problem with Ecamm is they've been trying to work with LinkedIn, because I've been trying to do some LinkedIn Live stuff, and they can't get comments to come into Ecamm Live natively. You actually have to use something like Restream, which I did last week. Fuji X-H2S is good so far. Haven't had a lot of time with it in the last week. I just got my whole Xevo system here. So that's going to be my next project in terms of setting up stuff. And that's basically a pan tilt with an artificial intelligence module that you can basically mount on sticks, or you can put it on a slider, and there's an Unreal Engine plugin. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I totally get it with the singles. You're seeing singles because you're in YouTube. And I'm seeing doubles and triples because I'm in Ecamm Live with whatever this update is. My guess is, and I haven't seen updates for Ecamm in a while, that this is a big update, and we'll see another one probably over the next few days. 360 grad, good to see you. Yeah, there you go. And then Andres, like I said, it's not that Ecamm can't communicate with LinkedIn. It's just whether or not you can see native comments, and you have to go through something like Restream to do that. Wireless, motorized, follow focus. Oh, I'm seeing some answers here. Boom. Okay, good. All right, so let's get into the conversation of whatever. As I said before, it's at the C47. If you want to bring up a topic, let's get some stuff going here. Just for housekeeping reasons, the September 7th Inspired Frame Challenge is posted on my channel. So if you want to participate, and I hope many of you do, the whole concept is you pick yourself, not something we're picking collectively, a frame from a movie or a television show, episodic television show, something that is inspiring you. You create a frame that's inspired by that frame, and that's the first thing you show. And then you show the inspiration for the frame. And that's all posted on the September 7th episode. Go check it out. I'm hoping we get at least a half a dozen, if not a dozen or more entries to this. Of course, myself, Caleb, and Ben have to participate as well. And we'll be talking about it next week on the Camera Flask live stream at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. David, can't wait to see more on that Xevo and dipping the toes on Unreal Engine. Yeah, me too, I think, maybe. Brandon, your brother's joining? That's good. I'm only seeing single posts now. No, I'm not. Because thanks, Pat, but there's no lank control on them. I'm just editing that, and I see that twice. I'm looking for a 5-inch camera monitor. Which are you enjoying now? This is for an FX3. Well, I'd still say that overall, even though Feel World and some of the other companies are coming out with some great products, that the OS on the small HD monitors is my favorite. I still would go with that personally. Yep. There you go. Chris, good to have you here. Thank you for showing up. What do we got? What are the questions we're going to talk about today? Who's going to actually be part of the challenge in September? I am hoping we get a bunch of people. I don't know if Ono Coffee's here. I'm hoping 360 grad. Pat, Andres, come on. Who else is here? GWiz 5150, Brandon, David. You know, it's a lot more fun, Mitch, if you contribute to the challenge. It's, it's work, Sam. Wilder. I'm bringing everybody in here. I'm just scrolling up here to see who's here. All right. Well, hopefully we'll get some people in here, including Chris and Rick. It's all up there. If you need to clarify what the guidelines are, just go and look at the September 7th episode that's already posted on the C47 YouTube channel. And 360 grad, it would be great if you do that. Brandon, I'm glad you're in. Look, the whole point is that you're taking something that is inspiring you. It's just a frame from a movie, television show, whatever it is. And you're saying, I'm going to create an image that's going to be inspired. It doesn't have to, not duplicated. Shot Deck does some of that stuff, but I think the idea is that you're taking that and using it as inspiration. And you could flip the script. You could do a tabletop shot. You could do something that's a short, it's not in the description, but a very short video clip. I don't think I put that in there. But really a still image that's inspired by a still image or a frame from something. So there you go. Pat's going to do something from Breaking Bad. Pat, you're in Oregon, so something meth related would make a lot of sense. That's a joke, but not really. Wilder might be in. And David has rough sketches for the challenge. Good. Love it. Okay. I'm glad 360 got the joke there. I mean, I'm not saying it's unique to Oregon, but in Oregon, there's a there's an allergy medicine that we have here in the States called Claritin. And apparently there's an ingredient in there that can be extracted that people can use for meth. I don't know why this is going this way, but somebody posted something about Breaking Bad. So in order to get Claritin in Oregon until last year, I believe it is, you actually had to have a prescription for the version that had that ingredient, which was probably the ingredient that actually helped you with the allergies. And then you would have just an over-the-counter version. But if you went to California or somewhere else, you could just get the stuff you needed a prescription for. It's been reversed, but there you go. Yeah, Pat, you're closer to Portland. A lot of tweakers in Portland, that's for sure. There you go. Chris is in. I love it. I mean, right here, we're looking at, if you include myself, Caleb, Ben, we're probably at 9 people so far. Are you going to follow through? That is the question. Are you going to do your job? Hopefully I'll do my job. You learn so much. You do, 360. You didn't know about this being over the pond about all these things about Claritin. But now if you look it up, you'll see I'm not BSing you. This is real stuff. And there you go. Mitch, sorry to see you go. But think about your frame. Come back next week, 2:30. It's a half an hour early next week, and we'll talk about that. And I get a double post. I haven't seen double post until just now in a while. But Mitch, come on back next week. All right, kids. What do you got? Let's bring up a topic here. I have a small window in Oregon where albacore tuna comes right from the place of the oceans, and it's supposed to be amazing. We have 2 albacore loins in the fridge. I'm making it tonight with a corn and tomato and avocado salad, mango salsa, and this is just filling time here. You know what I'm doing here. And in the meantime, Ono Coffee showed up And oh no, you better be in the challenge. I'm going to be very upset if you're not. And you can shoot your still on anything you want for the inspired frame challenge. Rick, this is getting dark here. David says, I have 3 films I've worked on coming to our local film festival this month. Pumped. Yeah, David, you've been busy, which is great. Is this where the Oregon Trail, quote unquote, comes from? I don't know. Just watch 1883, though. That's a pretty interesting show. What was that? I think that was my Bluetooth speakers saying hello. I turn that off because right now I don't need that on at all. Rick says, not exactly video, but I'm going to start taking on Matterport. Real estate, I think you mean. It's a pretty interesting camera that maps out spaces. Yep, I got you. There's no pressure, Ono Coffee. The only pressure you're putting on somebody is yourself. But you can do it. I believe in you. You have skills. I have so much to learn, by the way, about this virtual production stuff. It's making my head hurt. But it's baby steps. You do one at a time. The runway's always 3 times longer than you think it is. But then you just chip away, one thing at a time. If you're confused in the world or with any subject, just pick one thing about it and get that thing worked out. And then go to the next one. And then it builds. That's how you learn. All right. Yeah, Oregon. It might be the place to be. I don't know. Weather's nice right now. We've had some heat waves, but it's a dry heat, as they say. Brandon says, at the C47, hopefully it's not a double post of this because it's a long one, paid Sammy's camera in LA a visit over the weekend and was shown a large format, wide pan film camera. What is large format mostly used for? I can't wrap my head around it. Well, what camera was it first, Brandon? IMAX is a large format. I mean, the film size is much larger than full frame. Much closer to medium format. Might actually be slightly larger than that. Rick, your LOL 369 post 4 times. So you win in terms of your post. I don't know what it is that you did. It's either a trigger finger or some bug in Ecamm, but I have never seen a quadruple post here. But Brandon, those large formats are, well, if you think about it, it's kind of the opposite of a crop sensor camera, right? So you have an APS-C or Super 35 millimeter sensor camera, and when you put a X millimeter lens on there, it's going to crop it, and you're going to get effectively a longer focal length field of view. You're not necessarily getting the same depth of field, but you're getting a longer lens field of view. And when you're going to medium format, it's quite the opposite. So you might be shooting with a 100 millimeter lens, and you're going to get a wider field of view with that. But the depth of field, man, it's bonk. Wait, no, correct. Wider than you would with full frame. I just brain farted myself. Wide pan was a camera manufacturer. So the question is it also like a panoramic camera, or is it something else? I would assume based on the name, it's going to be wide sensor or wide film plane panoramic camera. Yeah, that's what I would think. I've heard of wide pan, I think. But is this a film or is this a digital camera? I'm thinking more like 4x5 and larger still camera with bellows rather than 65 millimeter IMAX, though. Who knows the math, Ono, on that? Like, what's a 4x5 compared to 65 mil? 4x5 is what in millimeters? Let me know. All right. Question that's a bit niche. Any recommendations on bags, cases to take kit into nature, wilderness, wet, muddy environment, everything packed in backpacks, no pelly cases? Wilder, that's a good question. It may be that you have to go unconventional. I mean, Think Tank and Tenba and some of these other companies would be the ones that you would go to as a first stop when it comes to those types of cases. But I think Peli now has a version of their case which isn't completely hard as well. But I'd start to look at some cases that have to do with sporting, uh, outdoor sports, not sporting goods, and see if there's some cases that you could repurpose for that. There's some really interesting cases that the police force and people who are in those types of vehicles use that sit on your seat, and those are so much less expensive and look as well made as some of the production cases we use. So I think you might just have to look outside of our industry specifically and see what kind of cases there are there that are going to be waterproof, really designed for the outdoors. Um, well, Brandon, I'm not sure what those cameras are used for in the industry. I mean, I do know what IMAX and those medium format sensors are used for. Very shallow depth of field, big, field of view. When you're in small spaces, when you go larger sensor, you can see more of the world effectively than if you're on a small sensor camera at the same focal length. If that makes sense. I think it does. Just looked up the wide pan 6 by 17 on eBay. So very different than the 4 by 5. Andres. Just looked up okay, now I got a double post there. Okay, well, there you go. Let's see. 6 by 4 by 5 is in centimeters. 10 but is dollars, Brandon, but I did say take a look at some other product categories. Brandon, if you're in the States, you might want to go to a place like Cabela's and see what they have and start to research there. Again, outdoor sporting retailers would be a good option. Sam says, if I recall from the dinosaur days, I lived in those days, the standard lens on a 4 by 5 is 150 millimeters. Standard on medium format is 80 to 100. Okay. Is that correct? I don't know. Okay. Chime in. Because the Mamiya 645 is a medium format. Low Pro, I don't know if they make bags that are good for those applications. They're built for those types of situations, but check them out. And yes, 645 came with an 80. The 80 is kind of the standard on that camera, as far as I remember. Wilder's thanking Brandon. Good. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Wow. It's kind of lively today. I have to say, I like it. Lots of medium format and larger format stuff. GWiz 5150 Pelican made waterproof backpacks, but they are heavy. If you win the lottery, you could buy one of the Peter McKinnon V2 backpacks. What's the deal with the V1s? And what's the difference with the V1s and the V2s? I know they're expensive, but if it gets you through the job, I don't care whose name is on it. If it does what it does and it does it better than anybody else, or it does something that nobody else does, it might be worth the money. Wilder says, yes, please sell me the winning ticket. Sam is correct. What is Sam correct about? All that stuff we were reading about? I think so. Scrolling back. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. All right. Let's get into another topic. Feel free to talk in the background about all this other stuff. What else do you want to talk about? Okay. Now we're really digging deep into the Peter McKinnon world. The PK version 2 is awesome. I don't know personally, but Maddie Hoopaya says so. Finish. Any tips on adding a color correction gel to a Godox 60 SW while it's attached to a modifier via a Bowens mount? Does the LED get too hot to put a gel directly over it? Well, I would always put a little bit of space there at least, Sam. And gelling LEDs can be a little funky because they have a reduced color spectrum compared to, let's say, a quartz halogen light, which is obviously a hot light. Um, it gets a little tough unless you have a color meter that can read and has sensors for those types of fixtures, because originally older color meters, especially before the C700 from Sekonic and especially the C800, they weren't really designed to take readings accurately from LEDs. So if you use an older Sekonic color meter, you wouldn't necessarily get a great reading unless you were reading an HMI, daylight, something like that. Quartz halogen, true tungsten. So that gets a little tricky. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Oh no, we don't know if there's been any progress with the LavaCat logo and merchandise. That's really a Caleb question. This is his lane. This is his obsession, and I will support it wholeheartedly. But honestly, I don't know what's going on with LavaCat. So there you go. Water, are you out? Is that the see you next time? In and out. Questions, answers, and I think got to run. I'm not a lava cat. Am I an honorary lava cat? Maybe. 360, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you now win 6, 7, 8, 9. Your post came up 10 times for the even better, less buttons to handle. I do have an email chain going back and forth with Glenn from Ecamm Live, so I'm definitely going to let him know about this and what's going on. And with the quadruple post from Ono, does anyone know if there's been progress? Oh no, that's the same one. Oh my goodness, there's so many multiple posts here. I think you're close to 10 here, Ono, as well, for your last post. Maybe you're 7 or 8. And then the triple post from Chris saying, not on your end, mind you, any thoughts on the new DJI video transmitter? Intrigued by it. Still haven't watched the Film Riot video regarding it. Film Riot, I believe, just put one out. But anything having to do with transmitters that are low to no latency, I'm interested in. Rick says, can you do a follow-up stream on reproduction? What is that? Did I post something that says reproduction? Is that, are you taking the piss? Just let me know, Rick. I know you do sometimes. So just say it like it is. Direct me. I want a URL or something. Otherwise, explain your RE dash production, please. Is it coming through multiple posts? I'm only seeing one of each on my end. Sorry, Ono. This is sort of towards the beginning of the live stream. And what's happening is I just did an update to Ecamm Live. And on my end, I see comments and reactions directly inside of Ecamm Live. So I'm not looking at your YouTube stream. And there you go. 360 grad. All I have to say is I'm not going to say it. All right, Brandon. Let's see. Are you clarifying? Can you do a follow-up stream on pre-production? What do you mean by a follow-up stream? As in just another stream in the future about pre-pro? I'm happy to do that. Let me know. And so far, 360 grad, only 2 posts on your 11 times. I'd be interested to see what happens right now if somebody posted something again, and if I see another 360 grad post that's a duplicate or more than one duplicate. Quadruple it. Okay. I actually have another question for everybody. This is just sort of a technical thing. What I want to ask you is I did a test last week with LinkedIn Live, and there were dropouts. There were issues with the stream itself. There were people who were having issues with some dropouts and some other things. And Michael, you missed everything. It's over. We're about to end it. No, I'm just kidding. Um, but when I went to do a playback in those areas where people had problems, and it was 2 or 3 people, those problems didn't show up in the replay of the stream. So I'm really trying to figure out this whole Ecamm Live to restream to LinkedIn Live, and if there's really problems. So let me know in the chat if you're seeing any dropouts, there's any sync issues, which there shouldn't be because the mic's going to camera and then they're traveling together over the magical technology of HDMI to my computer. They're not separate. So let me know. So let's see. Rick says this stream is about pre-production. A follow-up would be, oh my God. I'm not even reading. Everybody else can read that. I'm happy to talk about pre-production, but the other thing is not part of this channel. No religion, no science, no, yeah, I don't know. Just stuff having to do with what we do. I think that's the best thing. All right, gee whiz, real question. Wait, I'm not trying to muzzle you. What are you talking about, 360? I just choose on how to answer some of these things. Oh, politics. That's right. Thank you, 360 grad. So no religion, no science, no politics. That's what we do here on the channel. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean I don't have views on those things, but it just means it's not part of what we talk about here. All right, let's see. Gee whiz, 5150. What software do you use for pre-production? I've organized 2 features with scheduling, call sheets, sides, props, wardrobe, and equipment lists with Celtics. Not perfect, though. I added the T for you. I'm not in a narrative world. So generally what I'll do is I'll write comprehensive proposals and project outlines. We just do singles for call sheets, and I have a template for that. And yeah, it's just different when you're doing commercials and you're doing narrative, which is really kind of a form of narrative. So there are some other solutions out there. One of them, something monkey, actually. I forgot what it's called, and there's a few others. There you go. So Brandon says, notice the dropouts last time, but typically everything is smooth. Brandon, can you clarify if that was on LinkedIn Live or that was here on YouTube? Because generally we don't have problems on YouTube. Chris, thanks for coming. Check out the episode for September 7th for the challenge, and there you go. Brandon says, bye, Chris, exclamation. Oh, bye, as in goodbye. All right, there we go. Cool. All right, next, what we got? What's up for the next topic here? By the way, while we're waiting for the next topic to come up in the chat, has anybody ever made albacore tuna loins? It's not Lava Monkey, gee whiz, 5150. I think I'm going to do it with like a combination of Italian parsley, cilantro, olive oil, a little bit of lime. I think that's the way to do it. Don't leave it in there for too long, because then it's like ceviche, it'll cook. Don't want to use too much acid in fish. You marinate 15 to 30 minutes before you cook it. You go past that, depending on the size of the protein you're cooking. If you do it with shrimp, that's really the end of it. I am not pan frying these. These are going to be either in when you say pan fried, to me, fried means that you're cooking in oil. I'm probably going to have a pretty dry marinade on there, tiny bit of oil, but it's really going to be herbs. And then that's going to be either done on the grill or it's going to be done in a cast iron pan. The reason I'm a big fan of the cast iron pan, sometimes just putting it on the grill, by the way, is really high heat retention. And then when you sear and then you finish everything, it keeps the sauce. It doesn't go away. So you could retain more moisture. Do I put, yeah, I put the lime in the coconut. Bill, dinner's in about, I'd say about 2.5 hours from now. It's going to take a little time, you know. The trick to the corn in the summer, really what you do is you just steam it ever so slightly. And then you take it and you, if you have a propane or a gas stove, give it a little bit of char on the outside. And then you take a knife and you individually create corn kernels. Put some really nice quartered small tomatoes in there, maybe some fresh basil. Avocado doesn't hurt, and then a little olive oil, a little lime, something like that. Beautiful. Oh no, what are you making for dinner? Cooking shows are not easy to shoot. I've done some cooking stuff in the past, and you really have to plan for cooking segments. Partially because of how many cameras you need and how you can switch to them. To me, it's a minimum of 2 cameras, but I would say 3 to 4 cameras is better because you just get other angles that you need. You're obviously going to do that kind of wide to medium wide, and then you're going to need something that's going to be a quick cut to what's happening food wise over here. So you're going to want to go down to this area, and then you have to decide: are you going to go, kind of from above, or are you going to go reverse angle? There you go. Salmon tacos sound pretty good, Rick. I made rockfish tacos last night, and those also came out quite well. But interested to hear what Ono is making on the East Coast for dinner. Salad with tomato, red onion, cucumber, cilantro, pomegranate, molasses. So not pomegranate seeds, it's a pomegranate molasses and lemon juice, then Old Bay chicken wings with rice. Fried, grilled. What's the preparation of those Old Bay chicken wings with rice, and what kind of rice? All right, serious question. Let's get down to here. Did somebody try out the PMI Gear Smoke Genie? Is it any good, better than a regular fog mist machine, or is it garbage? Funny you should ask, 360 grad. I got an email today saying they are sending a unit out to me, and it is actually in the FedEx. Is that a saying? For me. It is definitely something I'm very interested in. I saw the Smoke Genie at Cine Gear this year, and it was actually one of the products that I thought was the most interesting. There's another product called the Micro Fogger, up to the Micro Fogger 3 now in terms of version, which is considerably less expensive, but it's a more modular system. So you basically buy the base system for about the Pro version, I think is $140 US. But then once you start adding all the other stuff, the accoutrements, it winds up not being necessarily as expensive as a Smoke Genie, but it gets up there. So I did not ask you to ask that question. You're ridiculous. So I think its application is for tabletop, and also for tabletop, really. Anything where you have beakers and food and you're trying to do gags where somebody's grilling. It is not the product you're going to use to haze a room. It's really for controlled, smaller environments. And that's what I think. Any machine can be a smoke machine if you use it wrong enough. Well, that's true. All right. We're doing deep fried wings with melted butter. I just want to make sure that we're getting down to business here. Coating, and then covered with Old Bay and steamed Koshi nikari rice. The pomegranate molasses and lemon is a twist on the Middle Eastern fattoush salad. Oh yeah, I know about that. All right, there you go. We're all over the place here. The C47. I know you were on the food topic now. We're on the food topic now, which is fine. But real quick, can you explain craft, tech, and creativity briefly? How many posts do we get on that? 3 in a row. Pretty good. Yeah, they hazed a room 360 grad. I'm coming back, Brandon. But I can tell you right now, there was no airflow in that room at all. If that small product was doing it. Sure, you can do it in a small room. Absolutely. But let me get this thing in and maybe we'll do it on 2 weeks from now. If I'm here, I think I'll be here. We'll do Camera Flask next week. Maybe we do the Smoke Genie 2 weeks from now. Could be interesting. All right, so here we go. Brandon, I know we're on the food topic now, which is fine, but real quick, can you explain craft, tech, and creativity? Ooh. Let's go backwards. Creativity is sort of the imagination of what it is that you want to do, right? So you're dreaming something. So the creativity is you're presented with a project or you are thinking up a project, and in your mind, there's a vision for what that is, right? So the creativity is the idea, the dream of it, and then you have to figure out how to execute. So your creativity is the art side of it, let's just say. The tech side of it is an understanding of how to use the tools that you're using from a technical standpoint, right? So there's certain things having to do with a light, and that you have to understand that fixture and how you work with it, and the intensity or dimming capabilities and changing color temperature, and also understanding the some of the science behind it. More importantly, when we talk about tech, so you have chip on board LEDs, and they have to do with what it is actually giving you or not giving you in terms of color spectrum and things like that. To me, the tech side is sort of the nitty gritty. It's the numbers part of it. And then the craft really has to do with the doingness, right? So you learn your craft has to do with how you go about the process of getting a result. And fortunately or unfortunately in this business, for me, fortunately, craft is a building of knowledge of how you go about getting results in something, but also knowing that it's not paint by numbers, if that makes sense. You don't go into a situation and say, if I paint by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I'm going to get this result. The craft part of it is saying, okay, I have creativity, I've imagined something, I understand the tech of how something works, and now it's the doingness part of it. And craft is learning how the doingness part of something, so you can get repeatable results. But there's also the understanding that there's variation, because you can go into even the same room 2 days in a row, and the conditions have changed because of temperature, lighting, ambient light, this and that. And craft is really a building on that knowledge of doing this, so that you can be more effective at getting the result that you want to get when you are in production. That's my answer today. It may not be a good answer, but I don't think it's horrible. You can disagree, which is good. All right. You'll let me know, Brandon, if you listen to my babble there. Ever have a VHS tape when you were younger that you overplayed so much the tape broke? Yes. That's like a quadruple post. Jeez, I have to make a note of this. I don't even know if I want to read the answers to these things. Does anybody wait? Oh my God. Okay, 360 is going off the rails here. Kind of, not really. It's kind of actually tame for you, 360. Creativity. Rick says creativity is revealing that you're piss drunk for your live streaming, going with it. That's a very Rick comment. And I had read ahead, but I figured, why not? Beautiful. Thank you. Working on some educational stuff, and this helps. Absolutely. I don't know if it's succinct in explanation, but that's kind of how I look at it when it comes to creativity, tech, and craft. See, I thought I was going to get through about 15 minutes of this and it was just going to be a whole bunch of uncomfortable silences. But in reality, it is actually a real conversation and we're talking about things. It probably doesn't hurt that I haven't had any more wine since we started this thing. And I apologize, but I don't. So there you go. All right, let's get some more conversation going here. We still have people here in this stream. We're holding strong. Let me see. It's so hard to see the numbers here. I wish the number count on Ecamm was somewhere else. They've also updated the go live thing. It's kind of interesting down at the bottom when you're in Ecamm now. You have when you choose a stream that you're going to, it says go live, and then it has a really small numbered countdown to the left of that, and then when it says it's time to go live, it has like this little flashing thing, but that's not always easy to see here through the teleprompter. Decent gimbal for a C100. The cranes are nice. I mean, a crane 3 or something of that equivalent might be a good way to go. You might want to wait for a sale, but they're not bad for a camera like that. I think crane 3 will handle a C100, at least with a sort of, pardon me, normal lens. The question is 24 to 105, maybe with the smaller battery on it, you could go with that. Otherwise, you might have to go with a beefier motor. All right, let's see. All right, let's see what we got. Pat says, finally rented out my FX9 on ShareGrid today. Who's willing to submit themselves to the risk? Thoughts? All right, let's see what people think about that. David says, I'll ship you my Roscoe V Hazer for a super hefty price. Well, thank you, David. I might not take you up on that offer. All right, let's see. Lots of still multiple posts. This will be when we end the stream. I'm going to send an email to Ecamm about this because this is the first time I've seen this here. And it's in Ecamm, not on YouTube for you guys. Man, talk about lots of multiple posts here. What else we got for the basically last 10 minutes of this thing? C200, where did that come in? Hold on. What are we replying to? I don't know. I don't know what this thread is here between Pat, Ono, and 360, but there you go. David, oh, you're answering the question about favorite cameras, I believe. That's up very far up here because, oh, it's Ono's. What are all of you guys using as a quote unquote primary camera for video? And that's where we're getting these answers. FX9, C200, Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. Hey, Ecamm, what the F? Love Gem. Right. 2 M's though, Rick. We got to put 2 M's on there. No dash. But I don't know if I'm going to say that. I think they are very responsive as a company. And what I appreciate about Ecamm is they seem to really care and they're still small, which is a good thing. And speaking of small or large, what are everybody's thoughts on Frame.io as being a part of Adobe, especially if you're somebody who's using that solution for work that you're doing? Anybody? Spicoli? Bueller? Anybody? James, good to have you here. Says A74 FS5 ZV-E10. Well, that's a lot of primary cameras. Which one of those 3? I'm assuming A74 or FS5 as your primary. I think the ZV or Z Victor or ZV-E10 might be a 1-inch chip camera, but I may be wrong about that. But I'm pretty sure, but not 100% sure. I saw Frame.io at NAB, looks killer, but it's beyond what I need at the moment. Yeah, I mean, you can go very cheap on Frame.io. It's just the whole camera to cloud workflow and what that becomes. So there you go. Okay, 360 grad. So there you go. Another question. While people are answering the Frame.io question, APS-C for the ZV or ZV-E10. Do we think that any other companies are going to get into the environments game the way and the engine game the way Unreal Engine from Epic is? Meaning, do you think there's going to be other solutions that let us do virtual production effectively without a huge learning curve, where we create a production and a virtual camera, production and virtual lights, and we tie those in between whatever we're doing in the real world and also some sort of virtual world? Yeah. All right. So interesting. The ZV or ZV-1 is the 1-inch camera. The E10 is a APS-C. I think that Aperture is probably releasing their tube lighting tomorrow as well. So we'll see. And then there's also the MC Pro. I don't know when that's coming out, but I would imagine soon. Am I surprised at Aperture? Not that there's a question in the chat. I'm asking the question out loud. Am I surprised that Aperture is getting into the tube-based game? Yes and no. I think it's a big space. I think once Quasar became part of Vitek Group, which is now some other name that I can't pronounce and doesn't make sense to me, that definitely changed things, because there was definitely a relationship between Aperture and Cineo. Did I say not Cineo? Quasar. Between those two. So I don't know. I'm not making you feel stupid, Rick, because I don't really know much about virtual production, and it's a rabbit hole. So we shall see what's going on. There's another thing that I signed up for, though. I think I just turned off my phone. This AI image thing. I want to talk about that at some point. Maybe it's a little too late in the show to talk about it. I'll fire up the phone and tell you what it is. You probably all know what it is, but I signed up for that, and I haven't made any images yet, but I am very interested to see where this goes. So just give me 1 second. Yeah, cinematography database channel is a good place. Matt Workman. He's really working on 3D modeling and people at the moment, but this is Midjourney. So has anybody tried Midjourney yet? I just signed up for it today, and really what's interesting to me about Midjourney is it kind of goes back to what I was talking about a few minutes ago. Are we going to get to the point where this AI technology is tapped into something that's similar to Unreal Engine, and we can say, we want a, an architectural environment that feels like I'm in Spain and is an interior with lots of natural light during sunset, and then see what it comes up with. And then it's not only just a still image, but it's a 3D environment that you can go into. They give you a few choices, and then you can hook up a virtual camera with a real camera, blah, blah, blah. I think it's happening at some point. There are some smaller companies that specialize in niche areas, though. So a company that can integrate them all would be the only new way that I can see outdoing Unreal. Yeah, might be true. I mean, they definitely have momentum here, but I also think that the learning curve is way, way higher than people are willing to put in their time, except for people who are looking at Unreal as a career, as something that they're going to focus on. Let's see where it goes. All right. Any last questions here? We're going to start to wrap this thing up. It's close to the 4 p.m. hour here, Pacific time. It's been, as always, an absolute pleasure. If you have not looked at it yet, please go to this channel, which you're on right now, by the way, and check out the September 7th post about the Inspired Frame Challenge and start working on that thing. You don't have a lot of time. We are just a little bit over a month away, and I'm hoping we get lots of entries. And do not wait until the last day. The more I can get that stuff in and start to organize it, the better. So if you can get it in before the end of August, that's even better. So there you go. There you go. Good hanging out with you. And I have one job to do after this, which is to send an email to Ecamm about these double, quadruple, and up to 9 to 10 posts in the comments and reactions. Minor bug, though. Pretty easy to get around. Hopefully they can fix it by next week. And all the best, everybody. See you next time on this channel and with Caleb and with Ben. And as I said before at the top of the show, we are doing it next Wednesday, and we are doing it 30 minutes earlier than normal. It will be at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. All the best. Take care.